What's up, everybody? Welcome to Busy Sticks, the Geekiverse's all video game talk show. Thanks for tuning in live at twitch.tv/the Geekiverse. Maybe you're watching this at YouTube later on or listening on podcast services around the globe. Regardless, we really appreciate your support. I'm Josiah Leroy. As always, with me today, Mr. Baba Yaga, John Fick. John, how you doing tonight?
Joe, I think this might be our first triple header since like the early pandemic days. Like we were recording all sorts of stuff when we were just kind of cooped up in the house, couldn't leave. We were starting at like 6 p.m. and going until midnight. We were doing all sorts of stuff, but I think we haven't done a triple header in a while. And tonight we're doing a triple header. We just recorded The Last of Us, then Mando, now Busy Sticks here.
It's been a long time for sure. And even back then, I don't even know if we did that. I think we might have just had longer episodes.
True.
We've gotten a little better at it over the years. You know, we're always trying to be better and learn and provide more insight, analysis, entertainment to you. But man, this has been a good triple header. We got to talk about the episode 8 from The Last of Us from HBO. We just did Mandalorian season 3, episode 2. Now we get to talk video games. What a nice way to cap off the night.
Not a bad Wednesday, if I do say so myself.
We'll take it for sure. So, talking about nightcaps, you know, what's about to be in our system here, I feel like is a good way to talk about this. We love video games, of course, but what goes well with video games? Of course, craft beer. So, John, what do we got on the docket tonight?
Josiah, I'm only doing this because you opened the floodgates. You did it first. I didn't have time. I did not have time. I've got myself a repeat. Not only is this a repeat, it's worth talking about because this is the beer that's always in my fridge. This is what I stock my beer shelf with. This is the Fiddlehead IPA. This is, my opinion, the best bang for your buck you can get in craft beer. You get a 12 pack of this for like $17.99 at Consumers or Wegmans or whatever. It's a fantastic IPA. I've always got it in the fridge. It's my go-to. And if I was ever going to recycle a beer, it should be this one because this is the beer that I recycle the most myself.
It's true, ladies and gentlemen. If I ever am at John's or there for a party, he's got some Fiddlehead lying around somewhere. It's true. I agree, too, that should be your first repeat beer. It just makes sense. For me, it was Mickey. That makes sense. Everyone,
it adds up.
You think about Mickey Boodle, you think of Josiah Leroy, am I right?
Adds
Probably
up,
not.
absolutely.
But I certainly do. So for me, I do have a new beer. Funny enough, I thought I had tried this when we were out for trivia a few weeks ago, but I didn't. This is a different version. So, we've got Froth, not a liquid lollipop.
No, it's the cherry.
It's sorbet, sherbet, a sour India Pale Ale with sweet cherry, lemon, and citra hops, 6.5% there. That is a nicely blended sour IPA.
It is so good. Yeah, that is one of the first beers that they ever did and they ever can that I ever had from Froth. That was like, they had that out and they had one liquid lollipop and that was before that was their thing. I remember buying 4 packs of that. Like, I was stopping at Froth all the time until they ran out. Loved that beer.
It's good. It's almost like a hoppier sangria. Like this is,
yeah,
it's a nice blend. And shockingly enough, I have never tried it until this past week.
So it's been years, probably 4 or 5 years since I've had it, since the version I had. I want to say it is one of the only beers that I ever gave a 4.75% on Untapped. I liked it that much.
Oh,
I think I gave that beer a 4.75. Again, it's been a while. The beer could have changed. It might not be the same. Who knows? But I liked it when I had it.
You know what's weird? Speaking of Mickey Boodle, I feel like that's changed a little bit.
They all do.
They switched to a different design in their can, and from that moment on, I was like, "This is slightly different." I mean, it's still
it signifies something, yeah.
It's my favorite sour on the market. Like I love it. It's my go-to. But anyway, I guess that's neither here nor there. So, John, cheers, my friend.
Cheers, brother.
All right. Oh, it's so good, dude. It's so good. Fresh too.
I want to pick some of that up. It's a good beer.
Thank you, Kay, for getting that. All right. Geekiverse. No. Show and tell. We've got a show and tell. I've got one.
You do?
And I know you're gonna match me here.
I had one. You have one?
Don't let me down. All right. So, what do we got here?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So for the listeners, that is a novel. What are we talking about with books? It ties into video games, folks. Star Wars Jedi Battle Scars, the precursor to Jedi Survivor, which comes out at the end of April. That's the one bright spot in the delay for me, is I get to read this book now.
Very true.
I needed that extra time.
Very true. So I just recently signed up. This is Star Wars related, at least. I just signed up for a library card, so I could sign up for the service Libby, where you can check out like books and audiobooks from your local library. And I did that, and I just checked out 2 High Republic books, and I finally got them via audiobook, and I own the physical books for both of them, but I like to like read a little bit, listen a little bit, read a little bit, like, trade off. And I just got those both checked out to me, but now this is here, and I want to read this now. Like, I need to commit to this, so it's like those are going to expire, and I'm going to go back on the wait list for those High Republic ones, but like, it's worth it, because I want to dive into this for sure.
Dude, we gotta, because we gotta talk about it. Maybe it's a Busy Sticks episode or a bonus episode before... Yeah. The game comes out, but
what do we got? 270 something pages. Yeah, not bad.
270, not bad. Big font. So the author is Sam Maggs. Did you know that? So if you read on the back cover, she was one of the writers on Marvel's Spider-Man.
Oh no, that's cool. From PS4.
One of my favorite video games of all time. Yeah, super cool. Love the cover art. I love this crew. What a cast of characters they have created here for this video game franchise now.
Can't wait.
They recently talked about, so Stig Asmussen, who's the director on the game, he talked about a plan to have this be a trilogy. And basically he was like, we got to see how this one does, right? Let's be honest. It's got to come out. We'll see how it sells. It's Star Wars. It'll be fine. But he said as soon as the first one, there was indications that it was doing well and it sold well, they were right on to the second game. So trilogy would make sense. Hope to see that happen. But of course, in just about a month and a half, we'll be playing some Jedi Survivor, which is exciting.
I'm so excited for that, dude. I hope it's like an Uncharted situation. Like, yeah, the first one was awesome. It was a novel idea, like groundbreaking game, but like maybe not the best game ever, right? I hope the second one is the Uncharted 2 to this. Like, they really figured out the formula, double down on the story elements they know they need to, double down on the gameplay that worked. Like, I love the first one. Very, very good game. I want this to be undoubtedly a masterpiece.
All indications are that it does improve upon the first game. Of course, we're not going to know till we have it in our hands. But if you're talking about a masterpiece, man, like that would be just.
I think that all comes down to the story. I think that the gameplay's there. I think they probably realize like what they have to shave off, make it a little better, make the fast travel a little better, traversal stuff like that. Shave some of those frustrations down. Polish up the bugs because it did ship a little buggy. Polish that stuff off. Get the gameplay where it needs to be. But I think it really comes down to story. If you're gonna tell like a mind blowing, compelling story, does it being in the Star Wars world limit that a little bit? We'll see. We'll see. I think that was a challenge with the first game, and part of the reason we were so impressed with it was like, man, this has to live within the confines of Star Wars and what the established lore is, and it's still so impressive. Like, this story was awesome. It was really cool. Let's take that to the next level. Let's make this the best Star Wars story that exists.
Man, I could not agree more. Hopefully we're in store for something special there. Moving on, we've got a fantasy critic update. We've got a newly reviewed game. So one of the games scored from one of our teams. And then I've got a pickup that went through.
I did
John,
see
do you want
that.
to take that?
I don't have. Do you have it up? I don't have it up.
Yep, I've got it. So the game in question that was reviewed on Dry Hop Digital, which is John's team.
My team.
Was Wolong Fallen Dynasty. That got a critic score of 82, which resulted in 12 points. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I'll take that. That was a late pickup for me. That was one of my later pickups. I remember it being like an early demo that came out early in the year, and people were kind of like into it, and it seemed like a cool vibe. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it out. Play the game. It's not my style. Try it out in terms of fantasy. And it worked out. Yeah, 82 points. My Horizon score went down from, I think, 82 to 80. So that evened out a little bit more. That seems to have been happening. I think that even like, I want to say your Atomic Heart review was higher for a little while than a 74.
I don't recall that. I want to say Hogwarts went down like a point or two.
I think it was an 86 to begin with, and now it's an 84. So I think that we've been seeing like as stuff has been trickling out. I want to say that Atomic Heart for you was like a 76 or 78 at one point. I could be wrong, but Yeah, they're trickling in here.
I don't recall. So that's great. That's good value for you in a pickup for sure. I mean, Fire Emblem Engage got 11 points for me. So if that puts it in context, that's pretty good. So the game I picked up is not technically confirmed for this year, but they said it's coming, and that's Mortal Kombat 12.
Right. That's a great pickup. If that comes this year, I think that's a no-brainer. People do be liking those fighting games.
That should be a slam dunk if it happens, and they're saying that it does from an investor standpoint. So more to follow on that. That's probably a very late in the year release.
There is one more update. I dropped a game. I did have my first drop of the year. So it was confirmed that The Wolf Among Us 2 will not be coming out this year.
Oh no, I didn't see that.
Yes, I didn't see that either. I was just looking at Fantasy Critic, and then all of a sudden, next to Wolf Among Us 2, there's like a little badge next to the game. I'm like, there's a little calendar badge. Does that mean it's not coming out this year? And sure as shit, I click on it, and it's like, yes, confirmed will not release in 2023, which means you can drop the game at no cost. If you have a game on your roster, it's not going to release. Confirmed, not released. You can drop it, no big deal. So I dropped it. I was worried about that one. I was thinking that one of you guys were going to get smart and counterpick that and lock me in with that, because that was never confirmed for this year. That was my big reach for sure. That was my big, like, I'm just going to grab it because it's available. I don't think it's coming out this year. There's been really no talks about it. One of you guys could have locked me in with your counterpick and maybe keep that. So I'm glad that didn't happen.
For sure. My issue is that I have an eye twitch now because I did that with Hogwarts. So
Right.
Yeah. I'm a little gun shy, but you're right. That could have been big. But I anticipate that being high up on the list for next year's draft now.
I think so too. Yeah. But hey, don't forget, you guys still have to use your second counter pick. So that's minus 15 points off the top of your score.
For sure. I'm being a little strategic with mine. JT, I think we'll forget about it. And hopefully Tim is not watching. So we'll see. Sean, we talked about what was about to be in our system with beer, but what is in your video game system? What you've been playing?
Yeah, so it's been interesting because I finished Hogwarts Legacy, and I've just been like a little bit chipping away at this stuff after the fact. The fact that I did not buy this game on PlayStation really affects my motivation to complete it for the Platinum Trophy. I just don't care about doing that on Steam. I'm glad I bought the game on Steam so I can play on Steam Deck and experience, a game on my PC. It was really fun. But I'm not really motivated to collect all of the in-game stuff because of, the lack of trophies. Sounds stupid, but that's just the way it is.
No, it's how I feel.
Right. But I still have been playing. I've been diving back in. I completed all the Merlin trials, which there's so many of. Completed all those. Was pissed, absolutely pissed to realize that, spoilers, very light spoiler, but after completing all of the Merlin trials, nothing happens. Like, you complete Merlin trials and it unlocks inventory slots when you complete like 15, 20, 30 of them. And then you finish the last challenge and there's still like 25 to 30 Merlin trials left. So I'm like, oh, okay. Like, gonna go finish those. Nothing happens. There's just no reason to do the rest of them. And I don't even think there's an achievement / trophy / whatever tied to it.
Yeah.
Maybe I missed one. Maybe I got to go back on the map and there's just one that I haven't seen yet. And like I do that one and all of a sudden there's a parade or something like that. I sure hope so because I did them all. But they're easy and they're like checkbox, like they're little puzzles. Like, yeah, that's what I want. So I've been spending very, very little amount of time there. Here's the thing. I realized that the Nintendo 3DS eShop closes this month. So I busted out my 3DS. I actually just, bought this.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, this is the NES version, the special edition. I just kind of upgraded to this one a few months ago, if not maybe a year ago at this point. And I never did a system transfer to get all my stuff on here. And I'm like, oh man, I should probably do that so I can have my Nintendo account on this 3DS and like buy any digital games I want to before the eShop closes. So in doing that, I've kind of just been toying around with my 3DS, and I've played a few older Pokemon games, playing a little bit of Zelda, Link Between Worlds, just like kind of chipping away at that. That's been fun. I've just really been like reminiscing about the 3DS lately. I've just been having fun having this thing like next to me and just, picking it up and popping in stuff, and I love the 3DS. Nintendo's always been so good with handhelds, and I'm glad this thing exists. So yeah, that's it's been sort of playing it, but just more so appreciating it. And then the last thing, a new season of Marvel Snap. We've got the Ant-Man Quantum Realm season just ended, and now we are into Days of Future Past. So there's some cool X-Men related stuff that I really don't get, because I saw that movie, but I apparently don't recollect it very well. I'm sure a lot of the stuff is more so comic tied than movie tied, but some X-Men cool stuff, new locations, new characters, stuff like that. So again, I'm back into Marvel Snap because that game is awesome.
Good stuff all around there. For me, I've not played much at all. I've played maybe 2 to 3 hours total in the last week. It's killing me. I've got to make more time for the video games. It was funny at work today. I was like, I miss the kids. They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, no, I see plenty of Daisy and Nora. It's great. I mean, my kids, my PS5, my Xbox Series X, my Nintendo. Oh gosh,
My boys.
I've seen a lot of them.
My boys.
So what have I done? I played a little bit more of Bendy and the Dark Revival on my Steam Deck. Such a great game. Cannot recommend that and the first game, Bendy and the Ink Machine, enough. I have played a little bit more in Hogwarts. I'm like 3 hours in, so I'm barely scratching the surface there. Done a lot of side stuff so far. I'm just having fun kind of running around the castle. And then a fun random one. So all day Sunday, I kind of had time with the daughters. Daisy, I just felt like it was time. She was ready based on her skill level. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. So
Okay.
2019. This is kind of a beat 'em up and not a ton of skill in this game. You level up your characters.
That's a Switch game, right?
That is a Switch exclusive game. Right. And I enjoyed it. I loved the story and just the ridiculousness of when it came out. It looks like a comic book, but it's totally got these MCU implications, just influence there. But Daisy is into Star Wars, and she's kind of been into Spider-Man. So I was like, hey, this is my way into it. So we downloaded it on the Switch, and we played a few hours of it, and she's played it solo, and she's pretty good at it, man. It's pretty crazy. My favorite thing in all of this, though, is you unlock characters as you go along. So in the second chapter is when you unlock Spider-Man. And I knew that was coming. It's her favorite so far. Spider-Man swings onto the screen, and basically it shows that you unlock him. And Daisy, it was the first time I ever saw her fangirl. She basically screamed. She was like, ah! And she did this, and I was so excited because, like, it was a beautiful, just cute moment.
That's what I do when I see Spider-Man. That's amazing.
It's exactly it. I was like, I relate to this so much. I've heard this before. Oh, it was John when we saw the last Spider-Man movie. But yeah, no, Daisy really just like was into it and enthusiastic. And we wake up first thing in the morning. She's picking up the Switch and she's been playing that. So yeah, Marvel Ultimate Alliance is not a game I anticipated I'd be playing in 2023, but that's what I did most of my my gaming time with this week.
Love to see it.
Yeah, hopefully that opens up a little bit more. Let's get into the news a little bit. We've got some release dates to talk about. So first and foremost, a polarizing one. We've got Starfield. It's funny because IGN puts it as Starfield delayed again.
Well, yeah, was it though? Yeah. What was the window they gave for 2023? What was it early?
First half.
Oh, okay. So fair. Yeah. So that's technically a delay, but
it's technically a delay, but like it's to me, it's not because there was no date.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
It's just stupid. Like, that's the narrative. Oh, delay it again. Just shut up. So here's from IGN. Bethesda has delayed Starfield once again, as the game will now launch in September for PC and Xbox Series X and S. There will also be a Starfield Direct on June 11th, right after the Xbox Games Showcase. Hanging on to E3 there. In a new official launch date announcement trailer, Bethesda's Todd Howard confirmed that the highly anticipated game will release this year. Quote, we have poured ourselves into this game, and even I'm surprised how much we can pour. It is large. We're playing the game all the time, end quote. The game was originally set to launch on November 11th, 2022, but was delayed into the first half of 23 and now has been confirmed for September 6th. John, anything to unpack here? Last year, you knew that game was not coming out. You beat that drum. But I think you're confident this is going to hit this release date or at least come out this year now.
I think so. I think the biggest tell for me is that they have this June 11th Direct, right? They've got this thing planned. If they weren't so confident in this date, they would have just not given it until June 11th. They would have just given us the showcase first, and they would have dropped the date there. If they needed that wiggle room to decide whether or not September 6th was like the actual date, I think that they would have just waited till this Direct to tell us whether or not that's the case. So I think that we just said this. It was going to come out 11/11 of last year. Like this game was probably relatively close, and we're at the point where like we know that Microsoft just has bags and bags of money to just spend, right? So I think we're at the point where they're just taking their time. They're maybe not crunching like we've seen a lot in this industry where they're getting things right. They're just taking their time with this one. And I think that they're giving us a date right now with the direct in mind, the fact that we're going to get a full showcase of this game. I'm confident. I think it's certainly time. Just the way everything reads to me is that this game is ready.
I am totally with you. This is happening this year. I've said it a bunch of times on Busy Sticks prior. They have to get this right. This is Microsoft's first big release, especially with Bethesda here. So they've got to make that happen. You think about the timeline, almost proportional with how Halo Infinite was delayed in terms of when it was delayed from the initial release to when it actually came out to when they talked about it 3 months before its release.
True.
So Halo Infinite, I think, was an outstanding game in single player. It just doesn't have the appeal for the long-term effect for multiplayer. I think they want to avoid that. They want people playing Starfield for months, if not years on end. They want that little bit of the Skyrim.
Yeah, there's two ways this game succeeds. It's either a success as a Bethesda RPG. It's another good Bethesda RPG, like maybe Fallout 4, or it's just a industry changing game. Like it's an industry statement. Like this is the epitome of Western RPGs, and Bethesda is back at it, and they are the best at it, and this is the best one you're gonna get for a decade, right? Like this is the Skyrim. Like we still talk about Skyrim. People still talk about that game, the experiences they had. Starfield has a chance to be that. Am I confident it will be? I don't know about that. Maybe not, right? Like and my bias is definitely included in that that statement. But it could be. It certainly could be. So those are the two successes. Like, it could just be a good Bethesda RPG where, like, sure, it's going to get your mid 80s and it's going to be, talked about for a few years, like a Fallout 4, or this thing really could be the industry changing Skyrim like they've done before.
I hope they achieve it, honestly, because that would be awesome. That's a big win for Microsoft and Bethesda, but selfishly, we get a really good game out of it in a sci-fi setting.
For sure. And either way, it's a success. Like I think I'm at the point where those are the only two viable options. I really think it's going to be one or the other. I think it's going to be that good RPG or that like next level game. So I don't really see a big downside to Starfield at this point.
I am confident we're going to see a high level of quality. It's just a matter of how high that bar is set.
How big is that appeal? Is it just the appeal to people who like the Bethesda RPGs, or does it transcend that? Which Skyrim did.
Is this like Elden Ring appeal,
right,
where it is universal, even though that is a niche genre?
Exactly.
This is not that. This is sci-fi. This is RPG, right? Like,
perfect.
It's attractive.
Skyrim and Elden Ring, perfect examples. Because like you and I didn't really vibe with both of those games, but they were like they were cultural phenomenons. Like they're people who just played Madden and Call of Duty played Skyrim, right? People who just played Madden and Call of Duty may have like tried out Elden Ring because they heard about it and really fallen in love with a different type of game. So that exists, and they have done that before. So can they do it again? We'll see.
And dude, like, this is free. It's not free, but like it's on Game Pass. So that barrier is going to be amazing. If you think you want to play it at all, people who would not plunk down $60 or now $70 for a game will try it. So there is so much going for this. If Microsoft can nail that event in June and really start building some buzz for this, sky's the limit. And I really hope that they get there. I hope they do. The gaming industry is better when Xbox is a strong player in those top three.
For sure.
Tell you.
And they have been. I just need to see, for me personally, I need to see that software. I need to see the reason for me to boot up that console. And yeah, this very, very much could be it.
This could be it. Hogwarts Legacy coming to now last gen systems, PS4 and Xbox One on May 5th.
Yeah,
some support there.
That's an interesting one because that was like originally supposed to be day and date, and then it was just like it'll come soon after launch, and it's just been pushed and pushed and pushed. And it's like, to me, it's just so interesting. How long are we going to support this last gen? Because Hogwarts Legacy is an ambitious game, and it struggles on my PC, which is like much more powerful than a PS4 or an Xbox One or whatever. Yeah, Xbox One, One X. And there's a lot of people that like haven't upgraded because of the promise of a lot of these games coming to their system. Like there's people who are like, yeah, I'm still going to get my Madden. I'm still going to get Call of Duty. Oh, even that Hogwarts game that I want to play. I have a coworker at work who's like, yeah, like I heard Hogwarts Legacy is coming, but like, I don't know, should I just upgrade now because it's taken forever? So interesting to me to see like how long we're going to get this cross-gen support because the power is just not there.
This is the longest we've ever seen, and obviously you throw a pandemic in the middle of it, so that really ruins the cycle for some of these. You've got the supply chain that was an issue for a while that's kind of loosened up here on the PS5 and the Series X. But I mean, you could play God of War Ragnarok, which is I think one of the best games of all time, to put it nicely, on a PS4. So I don't know. I like, is this the year that changes? Do you think we see announcements or released games for 2024 that hit last gen?
I don't know. It seems like such a mixed bag because we're seeing games like Jedi Survivor that's coming out coming out in May. That's not going to be on last gen. Its prequel was on all of those systems, and like I think a lot of people would have expected or hoped that it would be on last gen, but it's not going to be. It's a
Suicide Squad as well, right?
Suicide Squad, right? Coming. Exactly. So like similarly scoped games are missing last gen, and I think that if you ask the crew behind Hogwarts Legacy, they wish they probably would have just done the same thing because I'm sure there's a lot of work going into making this thing run on lesser hardware and like not they could easily just take the game and just drop it all down and make it look like a muddy mess and like have it run fine on these consoles, but they still want it to be like as impressive as possible. Obviously, they're selling this product, like they're still trying to make an impact on millions of people. So it's it's not as easy as just throwing out a crappy version because it runs well. So it's a lot of work. I wonder if it's worth it. I'm just interested to see what this trend looks like in the future.
I agree. I think back to late 2020 now and Cyberpunk coming out and the debacle that was, and it was on the PS4, the Xbox One. And then the next gen system is about a year later. There's just so much going on with that.
Well, my biggest thing about the story is this game's supposed to be coming natively to the Switch as well. Is the Switch involved in this release date? It's supposed to be PS4, Xbox. I don't see Switch. Did they delay the Switch version?
I don't believe it's a part of this. I haven't seen that though.
Where is the Switch version? Are they just gonna cancel it?
I can see that happening.
Huh.
How is that even gonna remotely happen?
Dude, it's gonna be it's gonna be bad. I played this game on Steam Deck when it came out week 1 and before the preload patch, and the Steam Deck is like 3, 4, 5 times more powerful than the Switch, and this game was chugging, looking bad for a little while until some optimization came out. So I can't imagine this muddiness on the Switch.
No,
I see nothing right now about the Switch.
That's not. Is that going to be? That's got to be via cloud, right?
No, it was native. It was native.
Really?
Yeah. It was announced to be a native game.
That seems like impossible to me.
Yeah, me too. Right. Especially having experienced this game and what it looks like, and seeing the downside of it.
I mean, I think about even last year. It's a pretty game and it's a big game, but Lego Star Wars. JT was complaining about how it ran on his Switch. Man, I can see that. That's a meaty game, and that was just Lego. So, what's this going to be?
Yeah, my touchstone right now, it's been a while since I've dabbled in this game at all. But Fortnite, I remember just trying to boot up Fortnite on the Switch these last couple of years. It is not the same experience. The game looks terrible. It runs terribly on the Switch. I don't know.
Yeah, it's time, Nintendo. Let's go. In terms of other updates, we've got a PS5 update that you can now get Discord, which is a nice little add-on there. And we've had it on the Xbox for a good long while. But always good to have that option no matter what system you're playing on.
Yeah, I'm so glad we just have that. We finally have that just universal chat feature, right? That's been the goal for so long. We've had crossplay for a while now. We've had it with Fortnite, Call of Duty. You play a game multiplayer nowadays, you expect to have that crossplay functionality, but you've usually had to rely on the in-game chat because it's been a pain in the ass, or you have to pull out your phone and join a Discord call. So it's just cool to see that Discord's finally on the 2 major consoles. It's on PC. Switch will never have it, but whatever. But yeah, you can just hop in a game with your buddies, and you can all just be on the same platform because just Discord is the standard. Discord is the best way. We're recording this podcast right now through Discord. It's the superior communicating system. It's awesome. So yeah, bring in more support. Right now, you have to, with this update, you have to join the call on a computer or a phone, and then there's a button that says transfer to PlayStation, and your account will be linked already, and it'll transfer the call. You'll get a notification saying you have now just joined. You've been transferred into a call. So I hope to see like the Discord UI eventually make its way to PlayStation. Like just have it be part of the menu. Let me see my channels. Let me see all my servers and stuff like that. Join calls from there. Glad we got this at least though.
It is a good step, and I'm sure we'll get to exactly what you're mentioning there at some point. So yeah, good stuff here in the world of gaming. As always, in the world of the Geekiverse, though, we're gonna wrap up this episode of Busy Sticks. We've got a lot of stuff going on, especially if you like TV shows. So, John, if people are fans of some of the biggest names in TV shows right now and want to see kind of a watch along week to week in terms of breakdowns, what can they check out on our channel?
I don't know about the biggest names, but I know about the biggest name, and that name is Pedro Pascal. And it exclusively if you like seeing him escort a young girl around a world. An apocalyptic world, actually, at this point, right? We're doing weekly breakdowns to every episode of The Last of Us. Episode 8 just wrapped up. We just recorded that. The finale is coming up next Sunday, however you want to phrase that, whatever you want. This Sunday technically already happened. Next Sunday is, I guess, technically true. But I'm excited for that. We've been having a blast just recapping those, and yeah, we're two episodes into season 3 of The Mandalorian. We're going to keep that up. And Josiah's teasing even maybe some Ted Lasso chat, man. We're getting into TV, man. The Geekiverse. We're evolving.
I'm so ready. It's going to be different for us. We are typically on the sci-fi or, the Last of Us
nerdy
here,
stuff, yeah.
So excited for Ted Lasso. If you haven't watched it, go get Apple TV Plus. That is worth a free subscription. Do that for a month or
just get Apple TV Plus in general because there's so much good content on there. So much.
It is underrated. If a year ago you would have said, hey, Josiah, in March next year, you're going to be a paying subscriber for Apple TV Plus and HBO Max, I would have been like, okay. Here I am, folks. It's awesome, though. A lot of good content on both of those services, and a lot of good content, if I may say so myself, on our channel. So whether you'll like to watch us live at YouTube or twitch.tv/thegeekiverse, you can watch all of our videos back at youtube.com/thegeekiverse, and of course you can listen on podcast services wherever you download them. We have fun each and every week talking about these shows, video games in particular. We've had a few weeks off from Guess the Game. I'm sure we'll be bringing that back soon. That's a show favorite. John and I really enjoy playing that. You can check out for past episodes of that, as well as following the Geekiverse on TikTok, where you can see some of those in kind of a fast forward version. We cut out all the fluff in the middle of it. So you'll see some epic fails. You'll see some epic victories. And then Tim talking about games that he thought were exclusive to systems that they were not exclusive on.
Oof.
So yeah. They'll live in infamy. That's right. For John, I'm Josiah. Thanks for tuning into this episode of Busy Sticks. We'll catch you next week. Have a wonderful rest of your week.